Welcome back everyone to episode 2 of our Let's Play series on Aurora 4X within the Star Trek role-playing framework, at least to start. I'm going to turn off these jump point survey locations. We won't need those for quite a while. And then I also want to zoom back into Earth, the inner solar system. I want to point out that people pointed out to me I had the wrong researcher. This was Dr. Fitzgerald, and of course we want Dr. Allen doing the research. Some other comments about like turtling and stuff. Just know that the first episode, that was kind of like starting to dot our I's, cross our T's with the infrastructure. Remember, from a role-playing sense, the world is still recovering from its from its population hit in World War III. We've already gotten ourselves up 20% from our initial start population in just 7 years, which is, phenomenal. Obviously something that's probably not physically possible. I'm trying to imagine a situation where 112 million people could be over the death of people. I mean, the net growth would be that high is insane. But that's okay. So the world is still recovering, and we were very inward focused, and I'm going to pretend that the inward focus ends as soon as we finish our conventional industry conversion to mines and construction. Now, after that happens, it's going to be time to start getting some research labs. And I'm going to put just like 30 of these down or something. We're going to want them almost indefinitely. And I'm going to create a percentage of 30% for this, and 20% is actually going to be to create 300 more construction factories. So I like to have a solid 1,000 construction factories. I feel like that's a really standard point to stop. We have our governor actually picked up a bonus. That's fantastic. That is really good, because our governor is actually quite good then. I think she was already good at mining and population growth. So let's just take a look at, was it Stephanie? Yeah, Stephanie Nixon, who's now been promoted due to her service. Wow, factory bonus 10%, wealth creation 20, mining 35, population 30. This is like an amazing candidate. This is a great person to even put on maybe even sector commander. I don't know if we'll take her away from Earth because Earth is so important, but if we have somebody maybe who has a higher factory bonus, we might put them on Earth and then put this one as sector commander eventually. So how old is she? Does it say her age? 28. Yeah, she's fairly young, so hopefully she'll stick around for a while. So we won't, just know that there are deadlines as far as turtling goes. I am already forcing myself to jump out of the system by 2063, which means we already have to have done, just to put those back on for a second, all the jump point survey locations. We need to at least survey enough to get one warp location, and we know there should be 5 based on our game setup. On top of that, I think that the way it works is I ramp up my research in the 2030s, and in the early 2040s, you're going to see the research just blossom into every category. Everyone will be getting a little bit of research so that everyone gets better, and that's going to pay huge dividends in the mid to late 2040s, and from there onward as well. So what we're doing is just kind of the basic infrastructure setup to get our Let's Play series going well. One final reminder also, if you want to be involved in the game, just make sure you put your ship name, comma, the captain's name or the scientist's name, comma, and then specify if you have any preference. You don't have to answer the last one if you just want ship name and captain. Please just include those between parentheses. With a comma separating. But if you want to be a scientist, for example, then you definitely put comma and then put scientist. Or if you want like a cruiser command, or if you want to be... Oh, that was the other thing. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. If you want to be on the Enterprise itself, since it's going to be kind of the focus of our, of our exploration for a good amount of time, I'm going to take several people and we can just distribute them as officers throughout the Enterprise to kind of increase the role play. So I did switch Brandon Allen. Fitzgerald was here. I think I already mentioned that. If I didn't, well, that was a mistake I made at the end of the last video. But we didn't lose anything for it because none of the research had actually been started. So that said, I am going to continue and we'll see what happens. Commander stuff. More commander stuff. Oh, okay. So this is useful. It looks like construction factory conversion from conventional industry has now completed. So I already set this up so that it's 50% more, and we're actually going to start building these research labs. Now note, the more construction factories we build, the faster we build research labs. So there's a trade-off here. Oh, we also have to be monitoring the stockpile. How are we doing here? 25.9. Oh, we're at -4. -3, -2, -1. Okay, I think we'll be okay on stockpile. We basically have hit some kind of perfect balance. Some perfect middle ground. Now, once these mines stop, I am also going to switch this to 20% mine creation, probably until we get to 400. I usually don't like that many, but just considering our stockpile is not going up, I guess we need it. So we'll get another 100 mines. At some point later in the game, those will be converted to automated mines. I can't speak today. And then we'll ship them off onto other places. But for now, although it costs workers, we have plenty of workers available right now. That's going to change when we start getting the scientists up, because labs are very worker intensive. But mines are not that worker intensive. You can see that we have almost 300. It'll be 15 after we have 300, so it's really not that many. So that means it'll be 20. Only 20 million workers needed for 400. So that said, let's keep pushing forward. And I guess research should be done very soon, right? November. Okay, so that means this stuff will happen first. Yep, there it is. So mines have finished, and we now have 50% unused. Well, we're going to do a little bit of modifications here. This is now going to go up to 60%. Well, let's see. How is this? What was this at? Okay, most recently it's plus 26, but that's probably because there wasn't anything to do as far as the conversion goes. We basically had some blank unused construction. But my normal way of doing it is to do mining at 20%. And I just want... Oh yeah, you can't use Control A. It's always I always make that mistake. 100 more for these. Good. So that, this, that, this. Good. All right. Let's see how that goes as far as mining goes. Got 3. We're still... Yeah, we're doing good enough then. It doesn't matter. The main thing is we got to get some more research labs, because first we want to get Brandon Allen up to, I would say 15, maybe even 20. And then we're going to start just getting one lab for everyone first. And then everything else goes into Madeline Jordan for power and propulsion. And in this manner, hopefully we will even, I don't know if it'll happen in this episode. We're already 8 minutes in, and so maybe not likely, but if we can, I'd like to get a colony established on the moon before the end of this video. That would be fantastic. So with that in mind, let's keep pushing. I didn't see that message. I think Elena brought up that you can also color code these, and that's absolutely true. You can. Okay, by the way, I need to be paying attention. Oh, good. So we got our first research lab. That's fantastic. Brandon Allen increased his administrative rating. Does that mean he went up to 25? I just want to verify this. I've never actually, yeah. Okay, so research, administrative ability is tied to research labs. I thought so, but I've now confirmed it. Well, that's very loose confirmation. There's a good chance that I've confirmed it, though. Anyway, so we have one extra lab right now. Those are all going to go to Brandon Allen still, because if he can get, let's see, if he can get research rate of 320, I will feel very comfortable. I think after 320, let's just look at all the research rate. Let's look at all projects, go to research rate. So we start off at 200, I think, and we got 240 already, and we're gonna get, well, no, we've already got 280, and then the next step is 320. So 320 is probably the least useful because it's only a jump of 40, and the next one's a jump of 80. So that's even more useful, but okay, whatever. And if there's like a min-max plateau, this would be like, the percentage increase over the previous one would be like 24 to 28 would be like here, 28 to 32 would be down here, and then 32 to 400 would be up here. Anyway, but that's fine. I just got the information. So 400 is after this. That's important, but 320 is kind of, Still Still, we want it. We want it because research rate, that affects everything. And the reason why I want these first is because once we start putting other people on their projects, they are going to be massively affected by research rate. Construction rate, mining, this is obviously not going to affect them, but it'll definitely affect, research rate will obviously directly affect them. Okay, so rambling on. Let's stop rambling. He finished, but not really any reason to stop and look what's going on. We already know he's moving on to construction rate. That should be very helpful as well. Actually, what we'll do is this, and then we'll actually pay attention to, yeah, we're at plus 16, so we're in really good shape there. I still want those mines to be built because I'm very leery of a shortage. So, okay, there goes our every 2-year promotion cycle, all the military people being tossed around into different positions. Okay, another empty lab. Fantastic. Okay, July of 33. Still July of 33, but that's because it's only a couple months away. It's probably still worth it. Especially because construction rate also kind of indirectly helps our research since it builds research centers faster. Okay, let's go back. Yeah, I think what we'll try to do in this episode, if we can get a little bit of power, we don't need much. We don't need almost any engines to be able to go to the moon. So, oh, I thought I saw something about Brandon Allen, and that was concerning, so let me pause. No, it was Brandon Hayes. And I don't see anything else. Okay, good. Okay, Brandon Allen has now finished on construction rate 14. And research rate, good. Still no lab. I assume it'll be coming very soon. Yeah, we almost have 2715 down to 27. Okay, 5 days. Boom. Okay, give him 13. January 26th. So let's see. That was that was significant. Couple months. Obviously, the more labs you put on, there's diminishing returns per lab, but it's the same increase in research, so it's useful to do. I wouldn't think about it in diminishing returns terms. Probably around 2035 is when we'll be able to get other people. That's when, right now we're just working still a little inward, even though Earth is now United Earth. We're laying the groundwork. We're building the other labs, you can say. We're building the facilities for other like categories of research to start entering into the research field. Like these are fields, I guess, right? The other fields are setting up so that they can also undertake projects. And I think at 15 is where I'll have him stop for the time. He'll hold there and we'll start getting power and propulsion up and all these other things. It's probably still useful to keep an eye on our... Okay, I was doing okay there. Okay, another... And there it is. So we're at 2034, really right on cue. At 2035 is when we'll probably get our first lab for not construction and production. See how true that is. I saw some experience stuff, but I'll just wait. There it is. Okay. Oh, good. That one's actually not that important. I was hoping it was... Okay. Political reliability, not important. Nothing really interesting. Okay. Now, at last, we get to do research in something else. And this is the moment where I'm usually salivating at this point. I really want to get someone else to do something. First thing we're going to do, it doesn't really matter because there's lots of things we're going to have to do, but let's just start with getting better reactors. I want to basically alternate between better reactors. The reactors will produce better engines, so that'll give us engines. And then I also want to keep getting fuel consumption down and down and down and down. Because eventually I just really like to have very fuel efficient engines, not just because it's efficient, and I love being efficient. So obviously this is like, there's no downside. This is a pure upside tech. But the secondary reason I like the better efficiency is because it makes your spaceships much more efficient in terms of fuel usage, so you don't need as much fuel, and fuel tanks are quite heavy. So we have Madeline Jordan, Dr. Jordan, back into research, doing pressurized water reactor. Even though I'm sure we won't actually be using nuclear thermal engines, we'll probably get one tech higher than that before we get our colony going. I think we can still get that all done. So now I'm putting her on first, but I'm going to start giving every other category one researcher. Maybe energy. Okay, yeah, still energy weapons. Even biology, I don't know. But sensors, logistics, missiles, kinetics, these three for sure are going to get a lab. So we'd like to start researching those things. Unfortunately, energy weapons and biology, the two things that I have the highest of, besides sensors. These are probably the least two important. I guess terraforming is interesting, but it's not strictly necessary. Anyway, we'll do those research. We'll do the research in that anyway. So, again, I want to pay attention to my. I usually don't play this fast. This is always the trick for me, is learning how to play fast enough to keep the game entertaining. If I'm playing a personal game, like on my own time, I'm like, I very rarely even use auto turns unless I'm like, I know there's nothing I need to wait for. So I wouldn't mind just clicking ahead and spending a lot of time smelling the roses, diving into the mechanics, looking at how much is my stockpile increasing. How many of these am I getting built? Should I manipulate the percentages? I would normally do all that, but as I know it's not very interesting, I won't worry about it here. So that next thing we want is geological survey sensors. So we'll get that next. Lots of sensor stuff that we want, to be honest. So sensors would be, I think, number 3 for me. Then next we'll get logistics and ground combat. I'm also working at the percentage gain. This is just extremely fortunate, a huge coincidence that the technologies I want to research are almost in order of the scientist bonus for those varying categories. Yeah, I mean, missile kinetics, this is one of the least important ones, and it's the lowest bonus. So, although, like I said, energy and biology are probably less important, but that's fine. Okay, production or a military cycle happened. That can camouflage some other really important happening, and that's why I think that sometimes having this window open, sure will increase something. Okay, an active lab. This is really going to be our pause and evaluate, is every time we have an inactive lab. And those will be happening faster and faster because 1, we're building industry, and 2, we're researching faster. Oh, we don't actually have... Oh, that's another thing. I always want to make sure I have something queued for these guys so that when they finish, even if it's not something we really need immediately, so we will want... Okay, let's just do active grab. This is your active sensors, so that's very important. Okay, queue that. So yeah, we'll want at least one job queued for everyone who's in the normal queue. Brendan Allen. Well, research is doing okay. How's our money doing? It's doing okay. I think we'll try to squeeze out one more construction. Nah, at the same time, mining is just... if you fall behind in mining, it's so hard to catch up. So I'll do that one first. And then I'm only going to queue 1 so that this list doesn't get too cluttered. So, but I know what I'll do next. Construction rate. And then power and propulsion. For this, we're obviously just going to include, fuel consumption. I mean, it's because we can't see the nuclear technology, whatever, that comes. Nuclear thermal, I think it is. I can't see it yet on the list. So we'll wait until that appears, and then we'll choose it. So we'll queue that. So 1 for each of our scientists. Very good. And wait, did I not have a new lab? Yes, forgot to do that. This is probably going to be fuel tanks. Oh no, I need cargo handling as well. Okay, we'll probably do that first. And then fuel tanks. I like to have fuel storage large. Oh, we need cryogenic transport. Do that one next. Lots of stuff in this category, but a lot of it we don't really need right away. So sure, ship-to-ship tractor beam, small troop, all these transport bays, they're going to be fun for the role-playing stuff. Actually, improved command and control is useful because you do get sector command then. But a lot of these things we don't need. Like, we don't need garrison, we don't need ground unit strength, we don't need the smaller emergency transport stuff. Yeah, we don't need most of these things. So, okay. And push on. Whew. Somebody asked about putting music in the background. The thing is, YouTube is just so finicky about copyright stuff and all that. It's really hard to choose. Oh, this is a useless scientist. Music that won't... Oh, wow. So Aaron Norman, I think the sensor guy is up to 40%. That's pretty good. Oh, Ellen Hughes has died. Well, she was on the science, so luckily she wasn't one of the most useful ones. Hopefully she was just a 0% one. But at least with Military Academy 2, our influx of scientists shouldn't be like totally pathetic. Wait, do we get a... No. Okay. All right, there it is. Mining production 16, and that means it's time to give Brandon Allen, who's now up to 35, which is nice. His next assignment after this will be construction rate. Good, so 4 and 4. That's what I want to see. Okay, somebody can increase their bonus, David Collins. Well, good for you, David Collins. He's trying to make himself... You know what? That is going to give you the next technology. We'll pretend that they're related. He was probably going to get it anyway. It's so far away, it's not probably important what we do here, but I'll just start working on the warhead size, and then probably, I guess, the agility after that. So the list, as it gets, bigger and bigger, more and more populated, this is going to be harder to track. That's why I want to make sure that every person only has one job queued, because otherwise it's really hard to tell if there's like 10 jobs queued down there, who doesn't have a job queued. And it's really important to keep that job queued. So Earth keeps circling. I guess we'll look at something more interesting. How's our mining situation? Good, we're still plus 13. That's really good to know. Because at some point, again, we are going to stop building mines in 2037, I guess, at some point. Okay, another research facility. Okay, we have the main 5 that I want, except for I would like defensive systems. That's another thing we don't have for duranium armor, But I'm going to hold out hope that we get somebody to do defensive systems. Hopefully. So until then, let's just go ahead and work on energy. I'm eventually going to be using lasers for the Enterprise. So we'll create that. And then always queue that up. We'll do infrared laser. And that's actually going to be extremely quick. So I will make a rare exception and queue a second thing. Let's do the tracking speed. We're going to need that as well. Okay. Oh yeah, let's look at something more interesting. Yeah, we have a stockpile of 5,000. You can see that nothing else matters besides duranium. It's always the thing you struggle with the most, which is why we're very fortunate to have accessibility 1 and a good amount. Alright, so we actually finished the geological survey sensors. That, coupled with the technology that Power and Propulsion should be coming up with soon, would be enough technically for us to start our first ship, and maybe I'll even make it. Actually, I think I'll make it after cryogenic transport is finished, because then we can actually put our colony on the moon. Oh, and we got an inactive lab. So 6 of them here, 6 of them here. That's good to see. Do we want to do biology? I guess so. I'm not even going to get the terraforming module yet. I'm just going to start getting terraforming rate, which doesn't make sense, but I don't care. I'm doing it this way so that when I, let's see, BG. When I do the terraforming module, I'll be able to queue up the next terraforming rate for Dr. Hughes. Okay, so 7 and 1. This is exactly 7, so I know that when it's full, we're at 7. things are moving along nicely. It's 2036. The world is really starting to look outward. We're already getting some grand ideas like, what about the moon? What if we just put some infrastructure? Could we actually make a colony there? Okay, so construction rate has started. Mining production has finished. That's fantastic. Our mining rate is actually going to go up quite a lot then. Just do 5 days. Yeah, 29. This is good. Last time I remember I had a problem with uranium, so I might have been a little bit overcautious about it. We probably could have pushed research a little harder. In fact, yeah, okay, let's do that anyway. Let's just do a quick change. I'm going to take this down to 10%, modify, and then I'm going to move this up to 70%, modify. Construction factories, I still want those going fast because, yeah, we want to make sure that we're building things faster and faster. Oh, no, dang it. No, one inactive lab on Earth. Okay, the only things we have left over are 0% stuff, and all of it is in categories we already have. What is the only categories we're missing? We're missing defensive systems, and that's it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I knew that there was 8, but I had to double check. So we have 7 going, and the only one we're missing is defensive systems. So we're in really good shape. Oh, but somebody finished their job, and I didn't give them a backup. Is it Brandon? It is. So let's get Brandon his backup job, which will be research rate, and that's going to be an awesome jump for us, jumping up from 320 to 400. Make sure I did it right. Yeah, okay, good. And then for this extra lab, we're going to start giving these to power and propulsion. And that will also queue her back up at the top, put her at the top of the list, so it'll be easier to check. So she's obviously pretty far behind 2036 compared to where I want to be. But now we're going to start adding labs and labs and labs to her, at least until 10, I'd say. And then maybe we'll jump up Alan to 20. So things are going to continue. It's exponential growth. The snowball's rolling. Okay, very good. I actually just finished. I didn't realize it's 2036 already. So speaking of Jordan, she just finished her first job. And we'll queue up actual nuclear thermal engine technology next. And then after that, she's going to start working on pebble bed reactor. And we might try to make something out of pebble bed, the nuclear pulse engines. I might try to get a colony going on the moon. Because at this point, with having settled and doing this research, it would make people really excited to like, well, let's just test something, right? Not just because the audience is watching thinking the same thing, but... Okay, cryogenic transport. I mean, the ducks are lining up nicely. Okay. It looks like things might actually get into position just in time for an early 2040 colony. So this was Scott Connor, LG. What do we want next? Probably fuel storage. I always like getting fuel storage, but that's 10,000. It's probably way too much to try to get. I do like having improved cargo handling. I also like to have, for sensors, I think the sensors person is not working on, what are you working on? Actigraph. So as soon as this finishes, what are you working on next, Aaron Norman? I have a mistake. We didn't give you anything to work on. It can't be right. It is right, because I have 2 for Patrick. See, that's why this messes me up. I was doing counting. Let's just jump over to that real fast. I think I want to do this, even though it's a long ways off. It's the thing which will be most useful to us next. So let me just... How long until you finish this? July 2037? Yeah, I'm going to cancel that. We're going to do some manipulation of what you're going to do. That, and then you can go back to this after that. Q. Now to get back over to, who was it I was working on? Who didn't have this? Scott Connor. So maybe no, obviously cryogenic transport we need. And if we get lucky, we might be able to get improved cargo handling. I don't think it's necessary. Okay, for our first ship, we just don't need it. Is there anything else that might be worth getting? I'd probably prefer improved command and control next, because that's going to have an impact on everything. So let's do that. Okay, very good. And then probably fuel storage, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. All right, another inactive research lab. Fantastic. They're coming fast and furious now, which means our power and propulsion technology will also start coming faster and faster. I do want to make sure that we're not starting to go terribly in debt in terms of this. Nope, doing very good. And there it is. 0.9 power consumption. Fuel efficiency is done. And we're starting nuclear thermal engine technology. That means we got to go back. And what do we want next? This is so exciting. I guess pebble bed reactor. And if we get that, then we'll get fuel 0.8. Then we'll get the reactors. And then we'll build our first engine, even right then. That sounds perfect to me. At 0.8, I mean, they're not going to be very efficient, but it'll be enough to get us to the moon very easily. So, will we finish it in this episode? I don't know. Okay, Fitzgerald doing infrared lasers. Okay, good. Let's queue up the next thing for him. What do I want? I'm not going to worry too much about laser size. I'd rather worry about other stuff, but he's working on... I guess that's the next thing we need. Okay, then just queue that. And an inactive research lab. It's very cool the way this is just happening very quickly now. And that should also be definitely decreasing the time it's taking to get these things done. 2037 in December. That's going to be coming very quick. Okay, and we just got research rate 400 started. Construction rate, that means these things are going to be happening even faster. Let's just monitor our... Okay, still doing good. Wow. We hit a good sweet spot. I'm very happy. Because we will stop producing mines eventually, so it's nice to have an equilibrium. Another research lab ready to go to Dr. Jordan. 2037, okay. I'm excited. It really doesn't take any kind of engines to get to moon. So all we need is cryogenic, which we have. We just need a little bit of infrastructure, which we don't have yet. But it'd be very easy to drop the research lab or even the mines down to 0 for a moment, and then just queue up a little bit of infrastructure. Even just 100 will be sufficient to get us started. Okay, but another lab. Yeah, let's just keep dropping them into Dr. Jordan so that we can try to get that ship out ASAP. Okay, Dr. Fitzgerald is finishing his research very quickly. And he's queued up turret tracking. Okay, wait. Fitzgerald. Let's just see. I have 1, 2. See, somebody's missing 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we have 7, of course. Who's missing? All right. Scott, Connor. Yep. He's got 1. David Collins. Yep. Fitzgerald. Yep. Hughes. Yep. Norman. Yep. Jordan. Yep. Which means Alan's our guilty perpetrator. It's going to take him the longest to finish this, but yeah, it's the most important because he has the most labs assigned to him. So it's actually really important that we make sure... we'll do expand the civilian economy next to get that one out. Yeah, and probably we need this one as well. Ooh, maybe even more. Yeah, let me remove expand and let's do this one instead. That one's more important. There it is. Good. Which shouldn't take him very long to finish it all, especially after we have the 400 research. Okay, good. Research into pebble bed reactors now starting. We already have nuclear thermal engines, so I guess Can I do this? Is it going to keep going days? No, it's not. Yeah, it's going to bring out... Oh, it is still doing days. Until an active lab. Okay, well, what I want is engines. We need this down to 50. It's 0.9. Largest we can get. 125. Well, it's pretty pathetic. Yeah, we'll wait one more technology. Because we are getting those faster and faster. Okay, check. 19. Everything looks good. 2038. Oh. So the mines are going to finish soon. Even at only 10%. That's good. So, yeah, we'll just let that finish then. An accident, somebody's been killed. It's really cool the way this game allows such a great framework for role-playing. They just add all the... I mean, you can just get so involved with the commanders if you want. It would slow down our series a little too much, so I won't be, but yeah. 2038, May, so that's going to be happening very soon. Okay. There it is. Next up. Oh, Nikes. Apparently she didn't have anything queued, which is a waste of a fair amount. 8 research labs worth of stuff, depending on where in the cycle she finished it, but we're going to make mistakes like that. Let's see. Gas-cooled fast reactor. I need... Nope. Nuclear pulse. This is what I want. Let's create this. And before we make the same mistake, let's queue up 0.8. And we have 7. We have 7. Good. Nobody's doubled. Good. I don't think we're going to get the colony in this episode, but we certainly will next episode, which is very cool. Right, more research for Dr. Jordan. Yeah, I think it's better to wait for nuclear pulse. The thermal one's just not going to be... It's just not going to cut it. All right, Scott Connor finishing something. That was cryogenic transport. Okay, yeah, everything's set for us to make colonies now. LG. Yeah, we'll do the large research next. Large fuel tanks. There's no actual efficiency in terms of fuel that you get saved from that. All it is build point conservation. It's kind of a downside. I really wish that there was more of an incentive for using larger fuel tanks, but for whatever reason, that's not the case in this game. Alright, David Collins on missile and kinetics has finally finished his first research. Let's give him another. We're going to want Gauss cannons as well, but there's lots of things in here we're going to want. Magazine feed system efficiency basically reduces the size of magazines for a certain size of missiles that you want. So that's another one. We'll just queue that up right away. Okay, that's now completed on Earth. I went to research, but wait, there should be... Oh, mines, not research. Okay, good. So there's 10% free. I think we'll just use this for infrastructure since we are basically right at the point. I'm just going to get 100 research. This will only take a few months. And then we can transport that infrastructure over to the moon in order to start off our colony there. So this is really exciting. We're laying the groundwork. People are, you can imagine the NASA, JPL, SpaceX type people working to build the infrastructure that people are going to use to live on the moon. It's very exciting. But we're getting towards the 40-minute mark, so I'll probably have to pause this here. Okay, construction of infrastructure is finished. That was very quick. What do we want next? I guess we're going to need a civilian commercial shipyard as well. Ugh. Thanks, STRG, for ruining... I forgot to sign off Steam, but that's fine. Let's see, what was I doing? Yes, the commercial shipyard. 10, great. Now this will be done in an unacceptable amount of time. Actually, if we want, no, because we're going to need to upgrade this. So we can build our first colony around 2040 if we just manipulate this a little bit. Let's drop this down to 50. And this can go up to 30. And that will now be finished in 2039. Much better. So this is actually perfect. Yeah, this is perfect. Okay, well, this is going to call this video to a close. So we're all set up. Next episode, we're going to get our power and propulsion research finished in time. This will happen on 2039, just in time for us to actually do the technology and then build. We actually have to build the engine, research the engine, and then put it on the ship. By build the engine, I just mean design it. And then we have to research the design, and then we put it on our ship. I think we can shoot, we're shooting for like a 2041, 2042 time on target for the colony on Mars. I mean, on the moon. And then Mars will follow. So that was a slip of the tongue, but it's definitely something else in the future. So thanks for watching this episode. Stay tuned for what should be a little bit more exciting episode is the one to come. So until then, take care.